see our leaders, actually dialoguing with each other.
This gerontocracy of older people, you can see there's different elder councils from different tribal groups that are essentially running things and overlooking us young people.
How did you convince that person that, please, I am me, I'm not they?
Nobody even showed up to vote. It was only me and my roommate, the guy who...
Today we are free! Oh yes, we are free at last! Freedom has come today! We had a dream, burning like a fire, yeah. We must come true today. We are believers, believing in the struggle, yeah. We must come true today. Rise up, your banner is waving, hey, freely in the air. Rise up, your flag is waving, hey, freely in the air. Oh, let me hear you sing. We are free at last. We are free at last. We are free at last. Sing it loud. We are free at last. Remember the day, a day of jubilation. Freedom has come today. Salute the martyrs, salute the warriors. Freedom has come today. Rise up, your banner is waving, hey, freely in the air. Rise up,
don't see our leaders, actually dialoguing with each other.
This gerontocracy of older people. You can see there's different elder councils from different tribal groups that are essentially running things and overlooking us young people.
How did you convince that person that, please, I am me, I'm not they?
Nobody even showed up to vote. It was only me and my roommate. The guy who...
Welcome to South Sudan today. My name is Myong Kwont. You are watching us live in United States. I would like to welcome all our viewers from United States, from Australia, from Europe, in Africa, and other parts and other continents as well. The goal of South Sudan today is to unite South Sudanese, and we are here to broadcast truth and the truth only. We analyze what it takes to make a meaningful change in a nation ruined by war in one hand and divided by politics in the other. I also would like to invite experts all the time so that they can help and dissect all the issues and events that are happening around us, wherever we are and wherever you are as a South Sudanese. I would like to welcome Brother Dr. Thatch to work and tell us what is happening in your part of the world. Dr. Thatch, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here, Ambassador Myong. Thank you so much. You're looking great.
Thank you. You are looking great as well.
We are making it here in Middle Tennessee. So there's weather going on, and we try to make sure that we are protected because we're not so sure. They're giving a warning of a tornado, severe weather, and et cetera, and et cetera. So far, it seems like everything is going well.
That's right. Your voice is going back a little bit, so let hear it. But we have topics that are quite interesting tonight, and what we will be discussing is nothing but the South Sudanese issues, like we have been giving you before. But the first thing that we will be discussing is to talk about what happened in South Sudan as the news. We talk about South Sudanese American this week, including you, if you are in America. We will be talking about this. This time is a graduation times for our younger ones, for ourselves, and for those that have taken a step that Dr. Thatcher taken. How many of us are graduating South Sudanese for the PhD this year? I would love to know that. And I hope Dr. Thatcher will have something to know, because you probably know some of the students that are working hard to get to that milestone. And we will lastly talk about the security arrangement, and the security arrangement that was announced actually this week, so that it will be the center of our topic. But first, I want to send my condolences to our people in Lehigh County for what happened to them. Lehigh is one of the 9 counties in Unity State. It's a county that where the first vice president and also the other vice president, Taban Dengaj, Dr. Riek Machar attained, and number of South Sudanese that you might not know that they come from Unity State. Taban doesn't come from Lehigh, but he comes from Unity State as well. So I want to send my condolences to South Sudanese as a whole, specifically to Unity State, and I wanted to send this special heartfelt from me to the people of Lehigh County. What happened to them at a time that we are in a peace in South Sudan is a no. It's wrong, and it's wrong, and it's also very, very wrong. But the question to what is happening in Lehigh is bigger than what you might know. We will dissect that later. And if there's anyone that has more in depth into what is happening in Unity State, you are highly welcome. And also, I want to send my condolences to what happened in Apenal as well. This should not be happening at a time that people are in a peace where our leaders are doing what they can to save this country. um, what happened in Joko is not right as well. Of course, I am a member and a supporter of SPLM-IO, but I would tell you that Joko is a continuing area for the SPLM-IO, and there's no reason for the folks from the IG side to come and kill the very people that are inhabitants of the Joko and the rest of the counties, which is Maiwut and Longchuk as well. And of course, it's happening everywhere in South Sudan. This is something that we can also not condone. The death that is happening in South Sudan, it's because of this war, and it should not happen. Uh, Dr. Galwak, do you have anything to tell us apart from what we know? Not to forget the coming burials of our brother, father, and also a friend to us. It will happen on the 23rd, not this weekend, but the other weekend. And that is going to be here in Nebraska. As a brother that passed away about a week or two ago, and we know very well. We want to welcome you. If someone can make it wherever you are, please send the family. Condolences of yours so that they will know you are part of them. We're also going to have a memorial for late brother Stephen Shandak in Minnesota that will take place at the same time next week on 23rd as well. It's the same community and the same people that will divide themselves. So some will be on this side, the other will be on the other part of United States to finish the job of putting our brother, lay his body to rest. Dr. Tai, you want to say something about that before you get to our topics?
Yeah, before I get to, well, both issues that you raised, the killing back home and also the death of our brother here. You say it right. The memorials will be next weekend, as well as the funerals also will be next weekend. They both will be in Midwest. The funeral will be in Nebraska, and then of course the memorial will be in Minnesota. So the community will have to divide themselves. So it's hard. It's hard. We are losing people like that. But back to what we have seen in South Sudan, especially in Lur, this past week. It's just terrible. It's unbelievable when you look and heard what people are doing. You cannot even confront the magnitude of the hate in which people will go and hunt their own people, innocent women and children, and burn them, kill the older people, the blind, the disabled people. It just doesn't. It's not cultural. This is not how we are as South Sudanese. This is not how we are as Nuer.
And Dr. Thach, just to pick up from what you are saying, this is one of the reasons why people need to understand what is happening in South Sudan.
Right.
Because what is happening in Ler, it's people, mostly, not just the people of Unity State. The cause of this war come from within the people of Ler, who happen to be on the other side of the politics.
And that's the worst part of it, because when this crisis happened in 2013, this newer group of people were now killing themselves between the group. They were all in one side. They were all killed discriminatively. Anyone who survive just because he or she, if he happened to be in Juba, it happened that he or she survived because the day did not come at that time. It was not because it was from X or Y group. So now, if you see how this long suffering, long trauma war, clans, worthless fight got into this level, it is hard even to imagine. How can people get help? How are we going to reconcile and really forgive one another when we are doing what we are doing to ourselves? This is so hard. This is so hard to imagine. So to check also the example of people killing themselves in Apanal, as you mentioned earlier. Why, if Salva Kiir and the Riek Machar are together, what makes the supporter fight among themselves?
Well, the problem here is that, and I would like to go deeper than that. The problem here is not understanding of the reason why you actually pick up arm in the first place for those that are fighting against each others. For the IG, because I hate to say the government, we are all part of the government now, but this part of the government support what the IG army are doing, and the other part are the one that are called oppositions. What is happening now is a proxy war, Dr. Thaj. It's a complete proxy war. It does not come from out of blue. It was planned, and it's planned because this time around, this peace agreement is working, at least on my side. This peace agreement is working. And for that reason, people are smart enough. You don't want to go and say that I want to to fight anybody, because this peace agreement has some accountability. So what is happening now is that the proxy war that is happening in Apenal, I mean, the IG are calling it is a IO against IO, and that is very, very true. The very people that were just taken away the other day, they were lured from where they were for the last 8 years. At the last minute, they were lured to the other side. And now they are told, and they are literally told, go ahead, capture that area, and that is where you will get your uh, your positions if you are an army. And that's what's happening. There's no question about it. But the problem here is this. You might say that this is happening in Apenal. It's not just Apenal. It's happening in eastern part of Apenal, that is happened to be the former de facto state of Adar, and that is the two counties of Maiwut and Longshu. And this county of Maiwut is the same community, very, very community, with sections that are just part of the same community. Those who die during the time that the IG took over Joko are the same families, and those who died the other day are the same families. What part of these people don't understand? What part of these people don't understand that they are being killed intentionally with smiles in this leader's face, and yet they are told to hit someone that have put his life online for 40 years for them. Anyway, go ahead, Dr. Thai.
No, I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing the logic behind it. And this is not what I'm disputing. But I know it. Yes, it's true. Somebody might think this would be a working strategy to whether to meet a short-term need or a long-term perspective. I don't know. But if you're looking into how things like this had worked before historically, uh, even if within the framework of Africa, the Sudan, for example, this sort of a strategy has been employed somewhere before. But how did it help? It end up recycling the hit. It end up prolonging the suffering. It end up not bringing the outcome that is needed by whoever is trying to plan that. And I think the local people, can actually pull back and look into this. Whether it is just because they're supporting Act or wide. What is it that is belong? What is their interest into this thing? How are they? What is their interest into this? And what is the short term that? What is the short term interest into this thing? Because if you are killing my brother today and I'm killing your brother today, we are now going to be an enemy for something that none of us is going to benefit from it. What is the use of anything like this? So yes, if it is a process, if it is meant to destroy you by creating whatever needed to be, so you look into the long term of it. Is it going to help? It's not. So if we are not the holders, I mean, I would say the generation that is fighting now is a younger generation. But I think there are people like us. There are people who are older who also know the benefit of having a society, having a community, having a family. And if the family is to be destroyed for the interest that doesn't really going to help the family, someone have to emerge. You don't have to even be called anything. You just have to, hey, it's tough. Let's figure out how are
So
we going to
when you say someone has to emerge, in terms of coming out to tell these people to stop killing themselves, or in terms of the way forward.
Yeah, you see, what
Mhm.
I heard that people from Nasser and Wulang were supposed to come, and I think some community leader stopped them from coming. I also think if this war in my wood and in Joko,
Oh, wait! Stop right there. Now, who was coming from Nasser?
I heard there was a mobilization that was supposed to come. I don't know who was actually behind them. I think the local IO member in that area might also mobilize people to join the war here, which actually could even shift this one to some sort of a direction that none of us would actually be able to celebrate.
Dr. Thaj, SPLM IO is not only a movement that has politicians, it's also a movement that has leaders within the army. That's why they can be blamed if something goes wrong because they have leaders. Here is what happened. Those who were those who went to capture Joko, they come from the SSPDF,
The
right?
newest.
This the South Sudan People Defense Force that
Okay,
allied with
which
the
now
IG.
merged together with IO.
Yes. Now, what they did was they brought the newly defected SPLM IO military guys, and they give them more guns, more power, more machine gun that can do more damage in short times, and send them to Joko. They went to Joko not looking primarily for anything else but to chase away the movement. I mean, the containment. I mean, to pick up the containment from IO. That was the intention, right? Now, those who were chased away from within the Joko was the SPLM IO military people. But those military people are part of that area as well. They're not there as civilians. They're there as a military, right? So when they were chased away, they all come from those sections within Longchuk and Maiwut area. So when they were chased away, now it's between the SPLM IO and the and Sudan's defense people defense force that actually helping these guys. So now the SPLM as a military, right? Because the head of the command that very area together, you know him, is Tochol, is in Nasser. So he sent his reinforcement to make sure that his Joko is not taken away by these people. So how did he become the local there?
Well, that is the thing. So I understand what you're trying to say, and I think you are right. The people who are fighting mostly are soldiers, but also are soldiers that are actually joined by the local people. Now, the what we are always mistaken is that when what is supposed to be a soldier fight include the local people, that thing that that move away the mission from what is supposed to be to now becoming a local to local sectional conflict. And
Well,
when it got into that level, it's no longer anything that you can call what happened earlier is a proxy war. But when you involve the local people in the fight, they are not ruled by the principle that you have, the military principle. They also go with a different intention. Some of them would go to carry on atrocity, like what we were talking about it in Lair earlier. Some of them would go with take anything that they have, and will go with their own mission. And that I think the result to that move will not be anything that anyone would want to see. And by then, you can now create internal conflict, a sectional conflict fight, which is not anything that anyone would want to see. Now, if social, the sectional commander, as you call, if he has a specific soldier and they're not mixed with the local people, and send a enforcement based on that, that would be fine. But if you and I, we know how the IO has been run for the last 10 years and how the involvement of the local people has been to that thing. And what you don't want to see is putting the two biggest section of Jikai Nur against themselves, because this is not anything that any of us would want to celebrate, because it's not good. Also, you don't even want the section within Gajag area or section within Gajag area.
no,
Which is where we're laying up on
Dr. Taj, you are playing what you are saying. You are playing exactly into the hands of our adversaries, because what you are saying is a message that I just say propaganda, purposely done so that people like you who want the right things happened will think, oh no, this is not right, we can't do it that way. No, that's not true. Because when they went to Joko to capture Joko, who captured Joko? Can you tell me?
I don't know. So we'll capture the Joko. You say earlier, the people who came to Joko were SPDF, the soldier of the army. Now you're talking about the soldier of the government of South Sudan, who are maybe stationed in Maiwut or maybe stationed in Pagak. If they came to capture Joko, I'm not sure whether the civilian joined them. If civilian joined them, the same message I just say is the same message that I would also say, because it would be wrong. What I'm just trying to say is this, and this is why I think this sort of war, it doesn't really seem to make sense at all. But if soldiers themselves are still saying, I have this area and I have to protect this area, even though they are now going to be unified.
Dr. Taj, here's where I differ to this explanation. Okay? What happened in Joko is an intentional plan, not only to capture Joko, but to kill the people of that area in purpose. And this is exactly what is happening in Ler. This is exactly what's happening in Mirmir. Because this is not just a coincidence. It's a plan. It's a plan that people like us will even argue about why this happened, who did it, and why should it happen. Because to be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why now when you say local, you mean white army?
Correct.
Why would white army be irrelevant to you now? Ask Dr. Thaj. Why would white army be irrelevant to you now when they were not relevant when we were all intertwined as one force of SPLM IO fighting the enemy that is still killing us today?
Well, if you asked me in 2014, 2015, I don't know whether I will differ opinion-wise to what I have.
Why would you not? Then why would you be different by then?
No. I'm saying I don't think I would be different that much, because I think
you would, because by then you were actually not only a cheerleader, you were actually a leader
No,
of
no,
making
no,
sure
no.
that
This is
happened.
what I'm trying to say. I think even from the beginning, if for any reason White Army took its stand at that time to respond to the crisis that happened, at that movement, it is okay. But at the same time, I also think if the White Army were serious and if the leadership was serious, the White Army would have been transformed from becoming a white army to becoming a soldier. Now we wouldn't be having issues as people going to attack people and take anything that they have.
Well,
They
well,
would be
well. Then,
going
for
to
your information,
right.
White Army have been transformed, and I can happily say it. Many of these ranked young leaders in the army now, they all come from White Army. And don't
Well,
forget, because
these are not white
White
armies.
Army are the youth, and they are the
No,
ones.
no. Few people that are now transformed, they are Gojam and Bilpam too. Those are few people. I'm not calling them white army. They're no longer white army. They're not supposed to be white army. Those are soldiers. Now, there are people who have not been trained, who have not gone through any doctrine, who are still sitting in their own home. And when they heard there is a fight here, or when they heard something is going on, they will come and will join. And then afterward, they will go back to their home. These are the people I'm talking about. If you involve them to the crisis like this, section by section, you are creating a crisis that will never be ending anytime soon.
Well, and that's, you're right, but the whole thing that you are saying is not what's happening. And I hope that you can get me. Our viewers are watching us. They know the truth. Some of them come from there. They can attest to what we are talking about. But here is the point: the White Army. I give you an example. When Paga was captured, you saw the civilian that were running away, right?
Right.
Those civilians that was running away was opposing the authority that was capturing Pagak. Do we agree on this, right? There are some civilians that were okay with what was happening at Pagak, and that was not many, few of them, right? So majority of civilian, or 99% left. That's why they suffer on the border of Ethiopia. There were civilians, real civilians. Why? Because they oppose of that new authority that was coming, because that authority is the same authority that killed their relative in Juba. So now, if what happened in Joko cannot be the same with what happened in Pagak, yes, it is. Why? Because when they went to Joko, those cantonment areas, that when you say cantonment, they are being trained to become national army in South Sudan, right? Many of them come from that very area, you know, and those who were killed, mostly they were killed within the same place, both sides. And that's why none of the IG military, or none of the South Sudan Defense Force, People Defense Force, was there. They only give them the military equipment because they know better. They say that let these people kill themselves. But anyway, we exhausted this topic. We'll come back if need be later. But I want to highlight some of our viewers for being here. First of all, I want to say to our chief supporter and viewers, that is Sarah Doll. Sarah, welcome again. You have been stunning person that always be the first to come. We really appreciate your time, and we appreciate your support, and we will see you soon on our show. I want to welcome Gabriel Will Scholl from Arizona, Nyokotap from Poland, and myself here, Tabitha Guy watching. She didn't say where she's watching from, and also our brother uh, Simon Tood, aka Chankot Nya Tungo. He's watching,
I
and
thought it's joining.
I have
Is he
sent him the
coming?
link. He will probably going to join us as soon as possible. Hopefully, if he does have time. But I want to say thanks to all of you for watching, and I want all of you to keep coming. And if you have any topic that interests you, please let us know. Now, Dr. Thaj, let's go to the security arrangement. This will take a big part of our discussion. But before we watch that, let's hear those that have been commissioned to serve. I want to play the news from South Sudan Broadcasting Corporation. But first, let me identify our show so that
We don't see our leaders, actually.
Minister of Defense calls on the people of Bale to unite and live in peace with their neighbors. Good evening and welcome to SSBC News at 8, and we begin with Republican decrees. Republican Decree number 126 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the Unified South Sudan National Army 2022 AD. Title and commencement. This decree shall be cited as Republican Decree number 126 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the Unified South Sudan National Army 2022 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. One, Lieutenant General Gabriel Duop Lam. 2, Lieutenant General Kong Gatquoth Kerjok. 3, Lieutenant General Wesley Welby Sampson. And 4, Lieutenant General Ashaba Khamis Fahal Ukande. SOA officers, Lieutenant General Garang Ayi Akol, issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba, this 12th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Republican Decree number 127 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Police Service 2022 AD. This decree shall be cited as Republican Decree number 127 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Police Service 2022 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. SPLA-IO officers. 1, Lieutenant General Thomas Jal Thomas Kume. 2, Lieutenant General James Duop Gatlik Koriom. 3, Lieutenant General Peter Nisango Kipoyo. 4, Lieutenant General James Ruot War. And 5, Lieutenant General Benjamin John Batisto Feringoni. B, SOA officer, Lieutenant General Dr. Alau Adiang Nijog, issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba this 12th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Republican Decree number 128 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Security Service 2022 AD. Title and commencement. This decree shall be cited as Republican Decree number 128 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Security Service 2022 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. A. SPLA-IO officers. Lieutenant General Yeldak Will. 2. Major General William Deng Boom. 3. Major General Dr. Chol Roy Kompok. 4. Major General Sharif Mamido Sharif Dal. General Intelligence Bureau, SPLA-IO officers. Major General Marwal Biliu Yam. 2. Major General Wan Juet Jok. 3. Major General Dr. Ladu Charles Simon Modi. B. SOA officer. Lieutenant General Khalid Buturis Bora. Issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba, this 20th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Supreme Commander of the National Security Service, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Republican Decree number 129 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Prison Service 2022 AD. Title and commencement. This decree shall be cited as Republican Decree number 129 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Prison Service 2022 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. A. SPLA-IO officers. Lieutenant General John Jock Guy Bipal. 2. Lieutenant General Chol Lam Poch. 3. Lieutenant General James Obonyi Adwok. A. SOA officer. Lieutenant General Ahmed Nare Lopole. Issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba, this 12th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Supreme Commander of the National Prison Service, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Republican Decree number 130 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Wildlife Service 2022 AD. Title and commencement. This decree shall be cited as Republican Decree number 130 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Wildlife Service 2022 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. A. SPLA-IO officers. Lieutenant General Pul Tachchak. 2. Lieutenant General Agrilasu Wani. SOA officer, Major General Machieng Kwon War. Issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba, this 12th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Supreme Commander of the National Wildlife Service, Republic of South Sudan, Juba.
Sorry, I actually turned off my my mic. I stop it from that because I want to watch. I want to let you guys watch it later, so that we want to finish the discussion of what is happening. Hey, thank you guys for letting me know that there's no sound. Thank you very much. Now, I want also to show you, because I want our viewers to understand what is happening here. Those that has been announced are the commands of the South Sudan National Army. And take it from what the lady was saying. They were not saying SPLMIO. She was not saying South Sudan Defense Force. for a reason, because that is what the agreement said, the National Army of South Sudan. That is why it's being reported that way. These people are now going to lead the army, they're going to lead the police as the national and the only national army of the country. This time, it does not belong to the opposition. It does not belong to to the SPLM IG. It belongs to the people of South Sudan, and that is what the peace agreement said. The question is, will that be honored? We will be discussing that as Dr. Tai come back, and also our brother Wal Walmabur. Welcome to the show. I will welcome you as well. But there's one thing I want you to see, because this general thing, lieutenant thing, and all these things, we should also need to learn about who is what, who is doing what. And I have put something together so that I want to share with you, and you will see exactly what I mean when I say that, because it's very important to show you the South Sudan leadership within the army. This still remains for anybody that is a military, you will understand. But I want to show you the leaders that were chosen and commissioned will be the one that commands the army of National Army of South Sudan. They will be the one that commands the National Police of South Sudan. You can see the insignia still remain SPLA because it has not been changed yet, but I'm sure it will be changed down the road. Now, when you see a second lieutenant, that's only one star, and that is the the list of all you are seeing here. Then you will go to the first lieutenant, you will go to the captain, then you will go to major, and then you will go to lieutenant colonels, and then you will go to colonels, and then you see how it the stars and also the eagles, which is actually the national uh, code of the country, is what we will be using for our national army. But the supreme of all, which is the CNC, will have this the one that has the eagles and the sword, and also will have that military robe that goes around. But anyway, I just want to show you this, and you should also know that. And this is not over yet. This will be changed. They will have different look, but it will be done through a system that is unified, and that's why they call them a unified force. Some people that negatively say it, these are integrated to the other army. Well, you say whatever you want, but the reality is this is what we want. Now, the question is that, I mean, will this be honor? I want to welcome brother Well. Well, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good. And you?
I'm doing very well.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Good. Um, how are you doing in Canada? Tell us a little bit about what's happening in Canada.
Today is the sunshine. We were outside enjoying the sun. Now I just came home and
Right.
and
Right.
rushing to come and uh, get some portion from what you're doing. That's what rushing
Right.
you home. Otherwise, I should not be home now.
Thank you. Because you are here now, we were earlier talking about what happened in Lair, because I think Dr. Tai will be coming. We were talking about what happened in Lair earlier, and I want someone that come from Unity State to give us really what is behind what is happening in Lair. Because this time, those who are those who burned down the town of Lair, those who are doing all these atrocities, are from very state of Unity State. So tell us what you know of what is happening in Lair.
Actually, thank you for touching that, and I will try to know what I have, and as a person, as a son of that area, uh, in that case, those areas that have been burned, I can even claim that I have a house there, because if I have one of my uncle, which is my uh, brother to my dad, is my house. So if it is burned down, it's my home. My home already got burned down. So I could say it's a sad enough for what happened, that those innocent kid was being killed. The only one painful thing that I feel for is that when there's a issue like that, and in other hand, you feel don't like me, uh, you should not be laughing on me, or say something that is not even connected to the person. What I mean by this is because why will not it look like too much boring?
Yeah, your background is I think
Yeah,
you put it on
let
on
me let me let me get out. Then I will be back.
okay, thank you. I will bring you back later then. All right. Well, as brother Mabur is coming back, I also want to take this opportunity to talk about what he was about to say. We were talking about what happened in Lair. Again, like I did earlier, I send my condolences to the people of Lair, and what happened in Lair should not happen. It's wrong, and it's wrong, and it's very, very, very wrong. But um, this is something that the community need to be serious about. It does not make sense that we are talking about being in a peaceful, trying to bring peace to the country, and yet we are killing ourselves just for a leadership of something of some sort. This is not good. This is not good. This is wrong, and it should. Anybody can condemn this. This is very, very wrong. I also want to send a shout out to our viewers. Brother Gabriel Wilschold from Phoenix, Nyetap from Poland, Nyokotap from Poland, and Tabitha Guy is watching. I think very close my neighbor here in Sioux City, not very far from where I am right now, and of course was Sarah Doll and brother Chamkot watching from Australia. I did send him the link, and I hope that you have time. If not, just let us know. Brother Dr. Thaj is coming as well. I want to welcome Pandang Nyal from New York City, New York, Manhattan. If you have anything to also add, tell us what's happening in New York. Sorry for what happened in the New York subway per se, because it should not happen as well. But thank God that's the culprit has been captured and is in the hand of the law now. I want to welcome Simon Garwit Quant. Simon, welcome to the show. If you have anything, text it to us. We will also discuss. Tell us where you are. If we have anybody that's watching from Africa, from back home, let us know as well, and tell us how you are doing wherever you are. But again, we are discussing about the security arrangement in South Sudan, and the question was that now it's not all done perfectly, it's all not all done together, but we need to discuss about the more things that are coming. Yes, brothers, they're all coming together now. Thank you so much. And let me welcome our chief anchor together with me, Dr. Thach. Welcome back. And Brother Simon Toot. Haha, now you come back with a famous name.
Oh, well,
You come back with a famous name. All right.
yeah, I know, isn't it?
Yes. Brother World went to put on his tie. and he's evicted because he does not have his time.
Oh.
So, Brother World, we need you back as soon as possible. He can only be with
You
me live.
guys have you have raised the bar too high for some of us.
Yes, it's okay with me to be without
Yeah,
time, but
you
but
and Dr. Taj have set the bar too high for some of us. Huh?
No, you already said a lot. You already said a lot about Brother Chunkwat.
yeah. Well,
We were talking about you earlier because there are a great topic to be discussed, and we want your input into it. You have a wonderful,
Oh my goodness.
thoughtful contribution. But I had to take a call,
Oh.
you know,
an
we
important call earlier, and my
Yeah.
ambassador Young was running he was running a video, and I thought that will take the whole time. I had to,
but for the viewer, they need to hear.
yeah.
They need to hear that, and this is why I want Brother Chankot Ganyatungong.
Because when I saw that
We-
lady on the television and
and then it is your blood, huh?
in
For
Juba,
what?
I would say, okay, let's discuss that, and afterward I'll come back and watch it.
All right, Brother Chankot, what is happening in
Yes.
Perth?
Not much, not much. It's just good warm weather. It's 29 degrees today, so it's beautiful.
You know that we don't work with this number you guys have. Our metric is different.
In Africa,
Oh, so you guys work
Yeah,
with
work on-
the Fahrenheit.
census.
the
I mean, not
usual
census,
Fahrenheit.
on Celsius.
Yeah, we go with Celsius. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well,
So 29 would probably be around
50 or 70.
70 something.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
we got you. We got you.
Yeah.
Well, our discussions, we were discussing about the security arrangement, the name that were announced on South Sudan national TV, and I pose a question here, and this is what we need
Okay.
to. And I keep telling you that we really need to interact. We don't want any presentation. If you feel that something that you want to add, just be like me, jump into it. But the person that will have the thought must keep his thought, because we don't mean to to confuse you. But it's good that we interact so that
Correct.
our viewer will follow what is happening. But when we have one talking head, it doesn't take us anywhere. But anyway, Brother Chankwath, the security arrangement has started. It has happened. And we know that it's not all what we want to see, but at least it's a start that should have happened a year or even a year and a half ago. Now, the question that we want to discuss here is, even if you also have something to add, you can add. Now, what should be next? For the first time, I saw Dr. Machar and President Salva Kiir I saw them together with a sense of a different spirit, and this spirit should be picked up by the people of South Sudan. Now, what did you hear when you were listening to the news of officially announcing the command of the National Army? And let's call it National Army here. There's a reason why they call it National Army and they don't call it South Sudan People Defense Force. Go ahead, take it from there.
All right. I will probably just be as narrow to the explanation as probably some of the point raised by Dr. Taj. In regard to, I think before I even answer, I think South Sudanese have got every right to be skeptical.
Skeptical, yes.
Yes, they have every right to question every maneuvering, because our leaders, most in particular Salva Kiir and his regime, has proven beyond reasonable doubt that this peace cannot go ahead unless they want it to go ahead. It is like they have the remote control. They will press a remote when they want to take a step, and then they will decide to throw the remote away when they know that that step is hard to swallow. And then once they swallow that steps, they will go search for the remote again, and then press the next step. So it is a long, brutal, process. And this is why South Sudanese have got every right to question and not accept what is happening. So coming to the question itself, I think it is a step to the right direction. It is a step that should have been done within the first 6 months of the agreement. Should this have been done at that particular time, I think the entire peace agreement by now should have been completed or could have been completed. But in regard to the step that they currently undertaken, it is a step to the right direction. And let us hope that somehow, somewhere, maybe the kissing of feet by the Pope is now taking effect. Maybe it's taking effect because it has been at least a year and a half to 2 years without seeing any fruit of the kissing of their feet. If that is the case, and the kissing of the feet by Pope is indeed taking effect, then maybe the process of integration of the forces will not take another 6 months. Because now unifying the command is just the officers, like the high officials. Now we have all these captains, we have all these leader and all this and all this and all this, plus normal militants to be amalgamated. It is going to be another process. If this is a step to the right direction, as we have alluded to, and our leaders meant it in good faith, this reunification of the forces should not take any longer than 3 months. If it takes longer than 3 months, we will be in another problem. That is what I can say in regard to the question.
Dr. Taj.
Well, first I wanted to welcome back Brother Chunkwith, and I think you have stated most of the points that are critically important when we're analyzing what is going on now in South Sudan. When we were talking about the unifications of forces in South Sudan to bring to an end the war and suffering of our people, we wanted to look at this in a holistic way. What is it that the people of South Sudan want? If they want peace, who is actually holding the peace? Mm-hmm. And what are the steps forward for us to be able to achieve that? If one of the steps forward were the unification of army that have fought among themselves, and now what we are now seeing is the beginning of something that can happen, then yes, we can actually give it a benefit of the doubt. But what is also a challenge is South Sudan, if you look strategically now, the armies are spread to different groups. Okay? If you unify one and there's no way to approach the other group, then one group will also go ahead and fight another group. So the whole peace you want in South Sudan is not yet going to be achieved. So the question now is this political leader, are they willing really to implement the peace that is needed so that they can bring peace to the people of South Sudan? Do they have a political will? Because even unifying the army alone is not going to solve problem if the unification of the rest of the forces is not addressed. Because Brother Chunkwith stated it, as Brother Chunkwith stated it, the people that are fighting is not all these generals. This general might be taking order, but some of them are actually do not even take order, and there's still people fighting.
That's correct.
So if this is not brought to the people who are fighting from the ground, then yet the peace is not seen. But if they are having a goal with priorities, and they have a timeline for it, that say, regardless of what we have or do not have, we want to see this happen within this time frame. And let's see it happen. And now we are testing you, the military leader, to go ahead and do this. We give you the full support of us. And who actually can say this? Salva Kiir. If he can say this, and he has a way to reach out to the others, whom we know for sure, if let's say, if the IO part of IO is unified and part of IO is out, it's still the peace has not yet come. If the other army group within South Sudan are not also approached, those of Cirillo, Thomas Cirillo, or those of
Thomas, really.
those of the former defense
Chief of Staff,
Malonga one. If those groups are not to also, if there is no program to reach out to them, to bring them to that peace too, South Sudan is still not going to see peace. So I think none of us on this forum, and I will say this, and I have been saying before, there's no good peace and bad peace. The good peace is a peace that is implemented. Okay?
That's correct.
That's the good peace. The bad peace is a peace that we think is good, but is not implemented. And that is a bad peace. So what we have now, if one wanted to win it all, then that peace is not a peace, because peace has to have some sort of a compromise. If there's no compromise in a peace agreement, then there's no peace. So if you want it on your term, then you actually do not have a peace. You just want to bring people to your.
Yeah, but now, Dr. Thach and Brother Mabur, you're going to catch up with the next question. If we can, someone has something that is sound. Yeah, turn it off a little bit so that people will not hear. I've been telling people since day one. Is that me?
If you have an open cell phone, yes.
I really don't have anything that's open, but hopefully that is.
If somebody has a cell phone,
do it well. Yeah. I've been telling people since day one that a peace agreement is something that you can make it work if you want to, or you make it not work if you want to. And the good thing that happened in this peace now is not what is happening now, is what was signed before. And that's how I see it. Because the culture of impunity that is happening in South Sudan is slowly changing now. Because there are some accountabilities. People are saying that, oh no, forget about the international community. No. It will happen down the road. And it haunts people. So now I want to highlight what
I think Brother Mabur, pick your computer.
Yeah, I think Brother World maybe try to, maybe if you have two accounts.
He has built himself. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, is it?
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes that happen when, let's say, if you had the Facebook open, and then straight away you follow the link.
Yeah,
that
that's
means
right.
the Facebook is still open while you got another account open. Yeah.
All right. Now we fix it. I want to project what one of our viewers said here, and that is Brother Ruben Grang from Canada. And let me read it to you. It says, peace will mean what is happening in Ler should not be happening. Cattle rustling and child abduction in Jonglei should not be ongoing. Flood affects communities should not be left alone to suffer. Displaced persons in many cities should be relocated. Conflict in Apenal should end. Conflict among communities in Warab should cease as well. Well, thank you so much, Brother Ruben Grang. He's one of my best friends who live in Canada. He's from Jonglei, and is very well versed on South Sudan crisis. Is a leader that always try to unite people. Brother Ruben, thank you so much for your question. But here, and it resonates to what we are discussing here. Now, let's talk about what these people will do. Because now it's no longer going to be president and vice president with their vice together. Now we have leaders that we will see to work as South Sudanese. They're not going to. By the way, let me put it this way: these military leaders that will command the national army of South Sudan, in your own term, in 30 to 1 minute, 30 second, 1 minute, what do you want them to do apart from what we know they've been doing?
If I can,
yeah. Go ahead, Dr. Taj.
Yeah, go. I want Mabur, go ahead in 30 second or 1 minute.
Well,
What do you want them to do?
thank you for having me, and thank you, Dr. Saj. Always, I say Saj, they say Saj.
It's okay. It's okay. Your sister was.
Yeah, it's the same, you know. Yeah, and Brother Chankwas. Yeah, actually, you know, Brother Chankwas already put it in a way that I supposed to come and put it. But the only thing that I will add on it, you say 30 seconds, it will not be 30 seconds. And in the military term, there's a lot of things that need to be put together to make it work. Actually,
we have only 20 minutes, by the way, to let you know.
Let me try to put it here. First of all, the commander-in-chief himself, all right, is like a father in the house. That if he wants his kid to go out in the house for today, including the mother with the father together, all family, they want to go out. So he talked to the mom and said, hey, today we are going out all. So the mom will organize the family.
Now you're talking about a family in the Western world.
Yes.
Because nobody go out where I come from in your mother.
In the West, so, yes, in the West. Example, thank you. Example, in the West. So that's how it is. But what I know so far, we still have a long way to go, because it's the only president structure that he put. The chief of staff was not mentioned before. Now he mentioned the chief of staff. This is the staff for chief of staff. The army are not yet even touched. I talk about the army was not yet touched. Because what I mean about the army, the sectors commanders need to be put together. And I know President...
Well, they are working on that. We will come to that. They are working on that. Dr. Taj, go ahead.
Yeah, they are working on that. But
yeah, we'll come to that. We'll come to that. We really need to save this time. Dr. Taj, give me your perspective. What do you want these leaders of the army? Take away the president, take away the vice president. What do you want them? Because they are your national army. What do you want them to do?
If they are an independent body, which I thought, if they are an independent body, they should execute the mandate. The mandate now would be to unify the forces that are allowed to be unified. They can set goal, they can set objective to meet those goals. They should also have a strategy on how to execute those objectives. And then any goal had to have a timeline. Regardless of resources they have or not, they should be able to do that. But now the question is, if they are micromanaged, if they don't have even if they don't have the independence, like the Western Army or any thought, so then and they rely heavily on political leadership.
In a layman understanding, can you break down the micromanagement of what
micromanage is someone who cannot do anything unless he is told. Unless he's told. He always seek advice of anything he or she does. That if he did it wrong, he will come and kneel down. It would be forgive or it would be. So that is a micromanagement. You did not give that individual independence, regardless of the capacity that individual has, is being managed by someone who is not free of giving anything democratically or collectively. And that, I think, is a challenge. If you have a body that is not independent, that do not have their own thing to do without consultation and taking advice, and not really advice, really taking directive, then they will not be able to do much, even if they have what it takes. Now,
Thank
if
you.
you have the
Thank you, brother Chankwa.
they should be successful.
Pick it up from that that statement. I kind of want to dissect it more. South Sudanese are prone to micromanage wherever they are. They give shots to their subordinates when they should delegate. Now, what do you see? What do you want them to do? These are national commanders of national army in South Sudan. In your own perspective, what do you want them to do?
Okay. I will come back to the statement of Dr. Thatch. Let me directly answer your question. Or were you asking Dr.
No,
Thatch
you.
or?
I want you to put them
okay.
together. Yeah.
One, because now they are the high commands in terms of the military. What I would like them to do is to make sure that within the shortest time possible, they should unify at least the 83,000 prescribed in the agreement within the shortest time possible, because these forces had been in cantonment areas for training for the last, at least for the
Brother
last
Mabo,
2.5 years.
you can mute yourself. I mute
Yeah.
you. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
yes, they have been in the cantonment area for training at least for the last 2 to 2.5 years. There is no excuse as to whether they need training or not. They don't, because they have been trained, they have been verified. So all they need now is just to be deployed within the shortest time possible, if they are actually serious about this agreement. So the current command should take the job as soon as now and make sure the deployment is done within the shortest time possible. If they don't do it within a month or two, then they are playing. This peace agreement will again drag on. That's number one. Two is to make sure that they build confidence within the forces that are going to be amalgamated. They need to be building this confidence that will be portrayed on a nationalistic manner, not on a tribal mannerism that we have accustomed ourselves with. So our leaders, especially the current military command, should work together in unison to make sure the soldiers can see that there is at least a change. But if they don't do it, then the unification will be very erratic. No one will adhere to the command, because if this guy Kwang Chorale comes from SPLM-IG, well, the soldiers from SPLM-IO will say, "Oh, this guy betrayed us. He left us a couple of months ago, and now he's trying to come here to preach to us." You know, so they must show us that there is unity in what they preach. I think you mute yourself.
You are muted, but let me try to add something here. You know.
Go ahead. You got me on that.
Let me try to put something here. You know, you guys cut me into middle, and I say, let me go into a military term. Actually, these people, they are just a command that you guys hear it, a high command. And that high command cannot work alone without the president, which is the head of the army, which is commander-in-chief. In that case, when I was hearing today or yesterday when I was hearing announcing things, it could be great if you could even announcing them, including the sector's commanders for 10 states. You know, if he put that the sector's commander for 10 states from a sector commander from a commander and deputy and logistic. So those three, if you could even put them together with this group, it could be great. But now, I have not yet done. And I'm holding my sword back because the president himself is throwing, I don't know if it is him or someone else, throwing the remote somewhere like my brother said. So
But
that
Brother
remote,
Mabur, David Amor, who is watching us here, said they cannot implement
He throw the
anything
remote
now,
under the chair.
as per now, until they are deployed. That's what David
yes,
Amor said. He said they cannot implement
that's what I'm
anything
trying
now
to put.
until they are deployed.
That's what I'm trying to say, because these people, they are not the people who will be deployed. The people who will be deployed are not yet brought into a table. The sector's commanders are not yet. So they are in number two.
These are the leaders who will actually help to select and to organize the one that will be deployed to 10 states. Well, I'm a layman when it comes to military. You are better than me, but that's what I see.
Let me try to put it here. He, commander in chief, with his chief staff and defense minister and deputy defense minister are the people who should work for who can be a sector's commander, not the deputy chief staff. After they put those together, they have to call them, including the chief staff and his deputies, to come, including the security organ, to come and have an inauguration, because they are not even inaugurated. We are even far away from this. So from there, so there will be having something called a graduation by finalizing. So it's going to take, I will take 3 months.
All right. Well, you are telling them now.
Right.
You are telling them 3 months. They will actually make it more than that. But anyway, Dr. Taj, now you are showing them what to do now.
But
Dr. Taj, David Amor said here.
But
he said, Dr. Taj, let us hold on. He said, Dr. Taj, let us ignore the little signs. I mean, the little trouble within the peace, the little sign of trouble within the peace. Let build on what has been done. What can you answer on that?
It would be good. It would be good to build on what it has been done. What has been done, if we are, number one, historically, if there is historically you base things on what had happened. You base things on what you already know. Predict future from the past. You can't assume things will always be this way because you're assuming them. But when you have the historical record of the past, then you can actually predict the future. Unless the future is described differently, and the past personnel are changing the action. Now, I agree with him that we should be optimistic, and we should be hoping that this leader are willing now to create a future for their legacy. If that is true, then let hope we see that. But we cannot just assume that there will be change when nothing is changed.
It's not an assumption now. At least we have our military leaders introduced to us. But Brother Chanko,
I think someone called him. His voice is mute.
Oh yeah, that's right. Who?
Dr. Taj, I think his conclusion was not clear.
Well,
go ahead, Dr. Taj, finish it.
What I was just trying to say is this: when I say we're not going to assume, what I meant by that is that we hope the peace has to come, but we also know this peace, for that peace to happen, the people who actually have the say for it have to change. If they don't change, and we know the past story, then there's nothing would convince us that thing of the future will be different.
Guys, we
from
have
what
only
we see
5 minutes. I really want to finish this today. I committed that we will have only 1.5 hour to, I mean, what 1.5 hour, even though you guys
Yeah,
did not come up.
and that's my summary on this.
Now, Brother Chamkwat, what is it that the two leaders have done right that we can build on?
Whoa, it's hard to say what the two leaders have done right together. I think individually, individually we can say so and so have done this right. Yeah, for me, I would just say, okay, maybe the signing of the document was something they both done right. But in regard to the implementation, nothing they both achieved together, because each of them is working contrary. What I can say, though, I will agree in parts with Dr. Thach in regard to the accounts of the historical evidence. In any given process, there has to be what had been done, so that once we learn what had been done scientifically, it will give us at least an inch or a hint on what we should be doing next. If you look at all the chronological accounts of what had been done in the last 8-9 years, a positive can be achieved today, tomorrow it will go back to zero. And then after that, another positive, and then zero. So the only optimistic that we can have at the moment is that the international community are tired of our leaders. They are tired of the fact that there is no peace in South Sudan. This pressure might be the only positive that can help us to attain the peace agreement. Why am I saying this? Okay, if you want me to conclude by saying this, the reason I'm saying this, Comrade Miyong, is because over the years, Salva Kiir himself, he said that he doesn't want to work with Dr. Riek Machar. That is something that we all know. Has he changed that? Because if he had changed that, then he should come publicly and say, now I have to work with my brother Riek Machar.
Mute yourself.
You mute. You have to unmute yourself.
That's right. You're right. Sorry. We want to end this with one thing, because what we are doing here is to analyze what we see, what we know, and it's a data that we know. If you know what happens for the last 8 years, you will almost get it right here, because these are the same people. Now, the last question, and I want you guys briefly to answer.
Can I answer what they done?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Well, I will give it to you now. You are next. The last question is: these army leaders, from the opposition side to the IG side, the last time they were together, that's when they were killing themselves. That's when they were fighting. But now they are brought together in the name of South Sudan. They are the leaders of a national army that is there to keep the peace and protect the integrity of the Republic of South Sudan. They will get into fight. They will get into problem, as president and vice president got into a lot of problems. Tell me, on your perspective, what will get them into problems, and how can they avoid it? You are first, Brother
Thank
Mabel.
you. Thank you. Actually, let me put it into short term.
Thank you.
These leaders, they was been training for all these 3 years. This leader who was being mentioned yesterday, they were in the training for all these 3 years. They was being taken to Rwanda. They take them to any corner every day with one plan together with their defense minister together all the time. So what will make them fight is what come out from our president himself, because the president always try to put everything into tribal line. And I'm talking in behalf of one sided now, but it will be up to the people of South Sudan will see exactly, because president is the one who will make them working together.
Thank you. I like that. That's the part I want. Dr. Thach, what will make these people into fighting themselves, and how can they avoid it now? Tell them what they can, how they are watching too as well. And Brother Mabir says something very interesting. President himself will get these people not understanding others and not understanding each other's. What is your perspective?
Well, since this is going to be my last comment, let me also say thank you for this hosting, and hopefully, I mean, I'm not sure about next week because there might be other thing to do next week. So to audience, thank you for watching. So if I were to predict the challenge, I pretty much maybe summarize it. The children at home, when they fight among themselves, if the parents at home are in peace and they bring all of them together and they tell them what they need to do to address the issues, they will overcome the issues, and they will also unite and meet the challenge. If the parent at home, mom and dad, or both parents, whatever you call them, both if let's say the father at home, if it's not dividing the kid, give X is this and Y is that, and Y is doing this to you, like creating a mistrust within. If he or she is doing that, then the conflict within the children will never end easily. They will always have that conflict, and in fact, they will not be able to achieve much. So what will happen is, if the lack of trust will continue, then they will not be able to meet the challenge. But if the trust will come, and they will also be challenged to do whatever they could to bring about the lasting unity among the people of South Sudan, they might even have an ideas on how to reach out to others armed group within South Sudan to also be unified with them. They might even have an idea on how they can actually encourage the leader to work for the benefit of South Sudan if they have the trust and confidence of working together. But that confidence has to come from the exact leader.
That's right. Thank you very much.
It's gonna happen like that. It's not gonna happen.
Brother Chankwath, in your own perspective. Can you hear us, Brother Chankwath? It's your turn. It's your turn, Brother.
Okay, you have asked two good questions. One is what will get these leaders into problems, and what to do to avoid them. Oh, can you hear me or not?
Now we hear you. We hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. We hear you very well.
Okay. All right. What I've said is that you have asked two really good questions as we heading to the conclusion. One question is what will get our leaders into problem and what to do to avoid them. First of all, because of time, let us just fresh our memory back to what happened in 2013 without even going back to the records. Just think about what happened in 2013 before December 15. What was the president doing? What was all the generals doing? What were they doing? Now, if you look at what they were doing at the time, it aroused the sentiment of hate, the sentiment of belonging. Someone feel like, I own this country. So and so is nothing. And I can do whatever it takes to get rid of them. So now, what will get them in problem this time around is that if those dirty tactics continue to be deployed within the current political arenas of South Sudan, if the lack of goodwill in implementation of the agreement continues, and that these leaders continue not to adhere to their signatures, if they continue to disregard their signatures within the peace agreement, then they will be in big problem again. What should they do to avoid? One, I think they have to find a new way forward, which shows that Salva Kiir must understand that he loves South Sudan, and so is Riek Machar, and so is Waniga, and so is Taban Dengai, and so is all of us. We all have equal share when it comes to the love of that country. No one should feel that he or she loves that country more than the other. Mm-hmm. When we feel that we all belong to that country and we all love that country, then we will find a new way forward, because my opinion now will be equal to Salva Kiir opinion, to Riek Machar opinion, to Waniga opinion. That is a new way forward that will avoid problems. The other thing is that our leaders must stop using vulgar words or terminologies, or describing certain groups or elites or tribes in the language of the past. They must stop that if they want us to forge a new beginning. If they don't,
Brother Chamkot is actually having a technical problem, but this is the last minute of our show. I want to end it that all of us live at the same time. To add of what is happening, to add this question with my 30-second. This must start with South Sudan Broadcasting Corporations changing not only the image but the language, because what is happening on that television is a masterpiece of individuals. It's not for a national country. It's not for the entire country. We must stop reporting that Minister X and Y had been to Turkey 2 weeks ago to have a meeting for a water irrigation. This is not the news. And this is where the change must start. We must also learn that this army that we are putting together, just like a dream, will come true. This army will be completely separated from the executive. If these people don't realize, if our leader don't realize, whatever the army, if they can unite themselves, and that's why I put those insignia there. If these people can unite themselves, they can tell the executive that you put your X together. And if you don't, we'll bring another civilian government that will lead this country, because the power of the nation is best and invested on our military. But I understand your point. We are not out of the wood yet. Until then, I want to say thanks to all of our viewers who have been watching with us today. Brother Chamkwaz has abruptly left, and I think he has technical problems. I want to say thanks to Brother Mabur, for always being there and giving us a great perspective from the background of a military that you have. And also, you are very national. You speak 2 major languages in South Sudan, probably maybe more. I don't know. So we really like that, and we need that national thinking from you. Dr. Thatch, thank you so much for being there and showing us the way. You are our GPS, and I hope that if people can follow GPS, they will not get lost. I understand we differ when it comes to politics, but I still respect that you are the GPS, and keep putting the battery on so that the GPS will not die in the middle. We need it. But I want to say thanks to our viewers. I want to say thanks to those who are watching us back home in South Sudan. This show is attempting to unite people of South Sudan. We will tell the truth as it is. We will broadcast what is right and what is fair, and we will keep you coming and give us what you want to hear. This is the end of our show. I want to say thanks to all of you, and I will see you next week. Goodbye. Do you have a point? Say something. You you mute yourself.
Yes, I have a point here. You know, the third one from the president and the chief staff, uh, that third number there,
Go ahead.
it have a lot of things that need to be done. You know why I say this? It is where we are in today. We are in that as we talk. Because the situation itself, a certain lieutenant, and we are not yet going to major general. They are the backbone of the country. They are the backbone of the country. And the structure of major general going up to LT. That's
yeah, Brother Chonko, something happened to you, and that's why we want to wait a little bit so that we know what happened.
One thing that I want to say,
yeah, something just happened abruptly, so yeah. But it's okay. We already finished. So it's okay.
Yes, the director of the military should not be given a say in the political. Brother Mayong, you brought a good issue about South Sudan television. It's a part of the one who doing a tribal life. That television is supposed to be for any others within South Sudanese. If it is a South Sudanese television. And if it is not, let it be someone else corporation and let the South Sudan have their own television that they can create.
All right, guys. Sorry, I had to step away to get something done. Did you finish? Because we were actually closing.
That's finished.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Brother Chonko, finish your thought because we can't let you go without like that.
Now, what I was actually saying earlier was that because you've asked those two good questions of what will get them into problem, and I was like, if they continue to play dirty politics, and if you look at it, if you analyze what I meant by that, there's a lot lack of goodwill in implementation of the agreement. If they fail to respect or honor their signatures, then that can take us to problems. What to do to avoid them is actually doing the opposite. You know, if you know that dirty tactics are bad, then be good. Do the good tactics. If you know that lack of goodwill is bad, then have goodwill for the agreement. Respect your signature because you have read the document. You were on the table when negotiation was being done. So there is no way possible you can now be opposite to the agreement because you signed it. The simple best thing you can do to the people of South Sudan is just implement the damn peace agreement the way it is. Yes. Lastly, our leaders need to forge a new path. How will they forge a new way forward? They must do it by avoiding vulgar language. Like a really damaging language. They must avoid references to some of the historical mistakes we have all done. Salva Kiir is not free from the mistakes of the history, and so are we all. So what I was concluding with is that now Salva Kiir and all the elites of Salva Kiir regime, including the IO and all the other forces, must understand that we all belong to South Sudan. We all love that country. Salva Kiir does not love South Sudan more than Riek Machar. Riek Machar does not love South Sudan more than Taban or Waniga. We are all sons and daughters of South Sudan. If we want this peace agreement to be fully implemented, we must have a new love for that country. All of us. Myung should not question my love for the country, and so should I not question the love that Well came aboard have for South Sudan. The only thing that we should all do together is implement the damn peace agreement for the interest of all. That is all I can say.
Now, just because you drag us back to this, let's finish it. I'm actually traveling. I'm traveling tonight with my son. We are going to his college to visit. So I'm not even going to go to bed. I'm just going to travel tonight to an 8-hour drive all the way to Milwaukee. But let's finish this. And I like the fact that you alluded to us of these dirty tactics. You know, brother Chankwath, the problem that South Sudanese have and seem to always have everywhere is that they only see what their supreme leaders or supervisors do, even if these supervisors or even if these leaders is not a micromanaged type of a manager. You know, people will always try to appease who's ahead of them, and this is what we really need to avoid. The problem that we have here is that people are not doing what they are delegated to do. They don't. People do not know when to correct their leaders, because the country does not belong to president. It does not belong to vice president. In fact, it does not belong to those who have been elected. Let me say that they are all elected. It belonged to the people. The power belonged to the people. And that's why I say give peace a chance. The meaning of this giving peace a chance is that the reason we are going slowly is because we are taking power away from the leaders that have the power. Every single day they implement something, a little bit of their power is gone. I'm telling you the truth, and this is the reality. Now, these people are smart. They're not stupid. They know. And they are saying, with this much you don't like me, with this hatred you have toward me, do I give you a knife to cut my throat this easy? No, you got to work for it. So the point here that I'm trying to communicate, and I hope people can understand me, is that let's show our leaders that give it to us. And that's all we need. We don't need your head. We don't need anything else. You have done your part. President Salva Kiir spent most of his life fighting for the independence of this country. We don't want him to ruin that. He has done it. Dr. Riek Machar has done everything for this nation. And that's why I agree with him on all aspects of what he does, because he's saying, let's get a constitution that recognizes everybody. Whether you are wrong or right, it is your perspective. That's how you see it. So now, for us, I like what Brother David Amor said, that let's build on what we have. The language we have, the language of we, will cause more problems. The language of we, I like the way Biden treated the war between Russia and Ukraine. A gentleman from South Sudan, who is basically a Denka or a Nuer, would never do what he said. And this is what he said. He said that let's not do anything that will provoke Putin. In South Sudanese interpretations, that is a cowardness. That's being cowards, you know. But this man is making sure that
Yeah,
Putin.
absolutely. No,
That's
not
right.
in South Sudanese. Just say, don't say South Sudanese. Say in Nuer.
That's right. That's true. I'm just trying to be fair here.
Yeah. When
So
you talk like Biden in Nuer, they will say a jin watch, kidwal ga Salva Kiir.
that is right, and that is what is actually being echoed by Dr. Riek Machar. For him, when something happened, right, he cooled it down. But when the dust goes away, he goes back to the same message that he has. So what I'm saying here, that I'm trying to say, I don't want to take much time myself, is that our language also will change our leader, specifically President Salva Kiir Mayardit, because we are pushing him to the wall now, right? And we push him to the wall, and we don't show him that we love him too as well. I'm not saying that we love him, but as a president, where is it? He's a president of everybody, right? Despite of what happened, there's a time for it. We have hybrid court coming, all right? Even Myung tomorrow will be indicted. I will not call Simon and say, hey, Simon, last time, I was telling you that I didn't do this. No, I will sit before the judge and prove that I'm not part of that problem. Let's leave that to job of that job. The Nuer who were killed in Juba should now spend time to make sure that this peace is coming, so that late them go and ask whether Riek Machar or Taban Dengaj or Salva Kiir Mayardit or even Simon Toot become the president. Nuer will still ask what killed us in 2013. It doesn't matter who's the president, but we need to do that. So,
Let me put something here.
I went too long. Go ahead.
Yes, let me put something here. For Sudanese, they say that the hybrid code is being abandoned. Those who are always saying that, don't mislead yourself or mislead others. These things is in process, and already the process has been done, and that's why you guys see the lawyer from United Kingdom come to Juba. Is a good gesture. So now everybody will find his lawyer. So if you are seeing yourself, you want to be a part of that case, prepare yourself.
That's right. And I want your last point, Brother Chankot, so we'll close it. But next week, I will have my exclusive interview with Ambassador Susan Rice when she went to South Sudan for the independence of South Sudan. My interview with late Colin Powell, and the thing that they said will amaze you. I want you guys to be part of that. I want you to analyze it. It is a great interview, and to let you know also that Ambassador Rice, who is also part of this administration now, she was the only leader in America or in all over international community that throw out a party for the independence of South Sudan. And that party was only South Sudanese were welcome with cameras, nobody else. And I will show you a bit of how much she danced. An ambassador, American ambassador, danced to the tunes of Kongdot, Gordon Kongdot music, because she was very happy. So when you see that, you see what we have done to our friends, how we have sent them. Pick it up from there in 30 seconds, then we close.
Thank you. Actually, I'm so happy that you were playing that. I and Ambassador Susan Rice, I have differences between ourselves. I have differences between me and her politically, but I like the fact that what he done in 2011. To be honest, myself, I lack the facts. I will never wash that away. Although I have a differences in political, so I respect her on the thing that he done in 2011.
We have a lot of we have a lot of misunderstanding because people have this word of never happened, but they will put it on someone else's. But anyway, brother Shankos, how okay? Can I want you to end this in 30 seconds.
Okay. What I will say is, God willing, we all going to be there on the day. My advice to you is, sometime, especially the viewers and all interested individuals, uh, might be wondering. Sometime it's good to, for example, put a post up on a Tuesday or maybe Monday, just to remind the memory of people, because sometimes people keep forgetting. So if, let's say, if you get to Monday, Tuesday, just post something as a reminder of the upcoming show, and that will keep people well informed. In regard to coming to the conclusion, uh, uh, comrades, as I mentioned earlier, our country need to change, and the people that should change the most are the leaders, those who always goes on the national media to speak. They need to change their terminology. They need to change their rhetorics. They need to change the statement that they put up in the air, because these are the things that arouse the sentiment of hate and anxiety and confusion. So if we want to have a country that that can at least stand for the future, then our leaders must start to change their language. I know in terms of the traditional way of life that we are accustomed to, uh, you are allowed to speak your mind. You can say, hey, got me near, hey, joke, and all this, and people just ignore them, like you just allow them to flow. But in terms of the modern world, people take every statement that you speak, every statement that you speak out, people analyze it. Every single word that you stated, people always analyze it. So our leaders must understand that the world order requires them to speak a language that is a conducive language for unity and survival of all. That is a language that they should adopt. You mentioned a very good point. Malaga UN should be dismissed from South Sudan Broadcasting Corporation, because there is nothing good that comes from Malaga UN. It's all about hate, hate, hate. Everything that Malaga UN does is all about hate. Preaching hate, preaching hate. That's it. Salva Kiir should reduce his language again now. That he must understand that he's a president for all South Sudanese, not a president of Akwajok or Awil or Warab. He's a president for South Sudan. He must change his language. Those presidential press unit, those who write his speeches, must now change, because the speeches that they write for president are speech that encourage hate and disintegration of South Sudan. And it goes all the way to even soldiers. So we have a lot to discuss in the next show. Sorry today we are late, or I was late. I've sent you a message earlier today asking you whether you are going to be 9 o'clock or after 9, so that I could have arranged myself or prepared myself earlier. Next time we'll coordinate, maybe effectively.
Sorry for all that, because I like you said, I will definitely make sure that I send something out. Actually, my exclusive interview, I have a slate for it. We will be playing starting on Sunday. We'll starting on
Yeah.
Sunday. This will be playing out all the times until Tuesday, because I want more people to come in. Actually, I invite Comrade Pagan and I'm waiting for his response. He actually will. He just mentioned that the 9 o'clock is somehow kind of late, but I will also check with him, and I want him to come because the things that they say it are at a higher level. They don't care whether you are Nuer Denka or whatever you come from. They talk about you as a South Sudanese, and if these people can be that happy that South Sudan is a nation, why not us? And this is why we want to change our language. We want to talk as nationals, South Sudanese, that can tolerate ourselves. We will never be the same. We'll not do the same things all the times. So starting next week, I mean, it's starting on Sunday. I will be playing this all the time. And if also you guys have, if anybody that has a topic that we actually need to add, is very important. But I want your Thursday show, if you have time next time, brother Chamkot. It's very very important what you communicate in Nuer language. We need to change our rhetoric now. The peace. I like what our viewers are saying here. The peace that we have here, it belongs to all of us. You make peace with whoever you are with, you know, because this country belongs to us. Tomorrow you will be president of this country. You will be a judge. You will be a senior person somehow, somewhere that make decision for 10 or a million of people in South Sudan. And these messages that we are talking about now
That's true.
will haunt us. So let's see the better part of what we said. Let's not give these social site warriors a chance to divide us. I know that people got killed. I know that people are killing even today. But there's no perfect. There's no perfect. There's no perfect peace. A peace that is perfect is the one that everybody agree on. So, with that being said, I want to lastly say thank you so much, brother Chankwath and brother Well Mabur. I call you Wallembor, so we need your input all the times. And like I tell you, I will count on you next week. And if there's someone that's so important that we need to bring in also from Jonglei or from Equatoria, Western Equatoria or Central Equatoria, or even from Western from Bahar Ghazal, we need these people. We need to hear their voice. We need their perspective as well. Thank you so very much, guys, for your time. I appreciate that. And thank you for the viewers. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Same time,
Thank you.
same
Thank
place.
you so much.
Right.
Brother Nguer or Brother Ngor, inbox me if you want to talk to me. I see someone was posting something online here. Thank you.
Peter Ngor said he tried many times to get you.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry about that. So if you try that, I will try my best to get you too. Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Maybe a Naru. Maybe a Naru.
That's right. David Amor said that inbox me. Who do you me myself or who are here? Let me know, David. Go ahead.
Don't buy jaga check. Don't buy jaga. My what a go. Don't buy jaga check. So next week, Michina even and back on I know I jaga check.
Okay.
Thank you, Comrade Mayong. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, guys.
Republican Decree number 131 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Civil Defense Service 2022 AD. Title and commencement. This decree shall be cited as Republican Decree number 131 for the year 2022 for the confirmation of ranks of Sudan People's Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, and South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA officers into the National Civil Defense Service 2022 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. SPLA-IO officer, Lieutenant General Stephen Paul Kun Kek, SOA officer, Major General John Pam Gatjek, issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba, this 12th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Supreme Commander of the National Civil Defense Service, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Republican Decree number 132 for the year 2022 for the relief of Deputy Inspector General of the National Police Service 2022 AD, title and commencement. This decree shall be cited as the Republican Decree number 132 for the year 2022 for the relief of the Deputy Inspector General of the National Police Service 2022 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. The decree. In exercise of the powers conferred upon me under Section 26(1) of the Police Service Act 2009, read together with the Section 38(1) of the Interpretation of Laws and General Provisions Act 2006, I, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan, and the Supreme Commander of the National Police Service, do hereby issue this Republican Decree for the relief of Lieutenant General James Puya Yel from his assignment as the Deputy Inspector General of the National Police Service and transferred to the National Police Service Headquarters with effect from 12th April 2022. Issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba, this 12th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Supreme Commander of the National Police Service, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Republican Decree number 133 for the year 2022 for the relief of Deputy Director General of the National Wildlife Service 2022 AD, title and commencement. This decree shall be cited as the Republican Decree number 133 for the year 2022 for the relief of Deputy Director General of the National Wildlife Service 2022 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. The decree, it reads, in exercise of the powers conferred upon me under Section 18(1) of the Wildlife Service Act 2011, read together with the Section 38(1) of the Interpretation of Laws and General Provisions Act 2006, I, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan and the Supreme Commander of the National Wildlife Service, do hereby issue this Republican Decree for the relief of Lieutenant General Martin Ring Malek from his assignment as the Deputy Director General of the National Wildlife Service and is hereby transferred to the National Wildlife Service Headquarters with effect from 12th April 2022. Issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba, this 12th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Supreme Commander of the National Wildlife Service, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Republican Decree number 134 for the year 2022 for the relief of Deputy Director General of the National Prison Service 2022 AD, title and commencement. This decree shall be cited as the Republican Decree number 134 for the year 2022 for the relief of Deputy Director General of the National Prison Service 2022 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. The decree, it reads, in exercise of the powers conferred upon me under Section 9(1) of the Prison Service Act 2011, I, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan and the Supreme Commander of the National Prison Service, do hereby issue this Republican Decree for the relief of Lieutenant General William Anderea Ladu from his assignment as the Deputy Director General of the National Prison Service and is hereby transferred to the National Prison Service Headquarters with effect from 12th April 2022. Issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba, this 12th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Supreme Commander of the National Prison Service, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Republican Decree number 135 for the year 2022 for the relief of Deputy Commissioner of the National Civil Defense Service 2022 AD, title and commencement. This decree shall be cited as the Republican Decree number 135 for the year 2022 for the relief of Deputy Commissioner of the National Civil Defense Service 2022 AD, and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. The decree, it reads, in exercise of the powers conferred upon me under Article 158(4) of the Transitional Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan 2011, read together with the Section 38(1) of the Interpretation of Laws and General Provisions Act 2006, I, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan, do hereby President of the Republic of South Sudan and the Supreme Commander of the National Wildlife Service, do hereby issue this Republican Decree for the relief of Lieutenant General James Malith Gatluak from his assignment as the Deputy Commissioner of National Civil Defense Service, and is hereby transferred to the National Civil Defense Service Headquarters with effect from 12th April 2022. Issued under my hand and seal of the Republic of South Sudan in Juba, this 12th day of the month of April in the year 2022. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Supreme Commander of the National Civil Defense Service, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Let's have a short break and we will continue after the break.
Dialoguing with each other.
This gerontocracy of older people, you can see there's different elder councils from different tribal groups that are essentially running things and overlooking us young people.
How did you convince that person that, please, I am me, I'm not they?
Nobody even showed up to vote. It was only me and my roommate, the guy who